I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay.
No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
This is a Kmart production, brought to you by Dudzik Chiropractic and MJB Electric. Welcome to ZaBillsPodcast. If this is your first time, we discuss the Bills games while we review two different Buffalo pizzas. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Listeners' discretion is advised. ZaBills Podcast.
Welcome back to another victorious Bills podcast. Boo, 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 boo.
There we go. Enthusiasm like that, you can't buy that, folks.
That is genuine excitement. What are you doing, Sean? Checking your scores?
No. I'm just kind of looking towards next week because this was such a convincing Bills win. I'm like, you gotta start planning for next week.
Okay, so let's jump the gun. We'll kind of work backwards. Now the Bills are 6-2. Where do they fall right now if the playoffs started? Third?
I think 4. I think still.
Yeah.
4? Okay. Does Bean need to make a move?
I think the Bills have seen enough. I think Bean has seen enough of the Buffalo Bills to know he's got something. I think at the same point last year, it was still a jump ball. The Bills were struggling. They looked like they were out of order. Their record showed it. They needed to go on a hell of a run, which they ended up doing just to win the division. I think he's seen enough. I think he's seen enough to know that they're better. They're easily a top 3 in the actual league. People have been starting to throw around possible Super Bowl contenders again. I think he's seen enough to add. Whether he can do that, I don't know. But I think if I was him in his position, I would add a couple more pieces if he could.
Okay, thank you for the yes.
Here's another point too. It's not a trade, but Von Miller comes back today. I think today or tomorrow.
Tonight,
and
last night, I think. Yeah, after the game.
Yeah, and then Milano is like 4 more weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, I think.
Right.
So those aren't trades, but those are getting two big guys back.
You also dismantled a team without your kind of stud inside linebacker as well.
Yeah,
Brendan.
Yeah, I was going to say something similar, that really the team that we have right now is fine. They went out and they got Cooper, which I think is huge for them and really changes how you feel about this receiving core. The rest, I think, is going to depend on how the rest of the season goes and how many more injuries we have to incur. Is Bernard going to be week to week every week? Is something going to happen to him? Is Milano actually going to be able to come back and start? Because, yeah, Dorian Williams is fine, but beyond that, we're a little thin there. I think it's going to depend on injuries and how the rest of the season goes, but I would say it was almost definitely on the defensive side of the ball. I think offensively, there's nowhere else you need to go.
So if I was hoping that Bean was going to make a move, I would hope that he is going to target edge rusher or D tackle.
I'll push back.
Why?
Their defensive line played great against Seattle. You got a lot of depth, especially with Von Miller coming back. You got your ends. Rousseau has taken a huge step over the last 3 weeks.
Okay, so number one, pressure.
Yeah.
But he's not getting the sacks.
I get that.
Yeah, that's one of the things I have down here is that there's not a ton of pressure from the four D linemen. Like every now and then they blitz, which they should do more of, but every now and then they blitz and it works pretty well. But you can't rely on that. You have to get more pressure, I think.
The question is there even anybody out there that is better than what we have that we can afford?
Yeah, there's one name. He's a Titan D tackle, that Joseph Day.
I never heard of him.
Me neither.
Oh, that's what I heard on a blip.
Yeah, but which is good. But do you want to? I don't think it's a weakness per se. But if you're going to go there, that means you have to deprive running back. Well, you don't need that one. But offensive line, cornerback, secondary. I mean, if you only got room really for one more shot, one more ad, unless they do something with their salary cap.
This is your wheelhouse. You were talking last week or the week before about how he needs to go and get.
I do get that, but all I'm trying to tell you is if we go D end, we're basically saying, well, linebacker we're set, corner we're set, safety we're set. I want him to go all out, but if we focus on one position, we're not going to be able to fill other needs. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay, so where is your number one need on defense?
Well, I want to know where Milano is. If Milano has a legitimate shot at playing a game, maybe 2 games in the regular season before he gets in the playoffs, if you could tell me he's going to be healthy, that's fine. If not, we're going to need linebacker help. If he's not going to be reliable, if they're like 50-50 he returns, I would shore that up. I think that's really important. I think they have depth there with Milano, with Bernard back healthy. But I'd rather see that shored up before I would ever see anything on the defensive line. I think we have enough to sustain on our defensive line. It's not a number one need.
Yeah, I agree with Brendan. I think that like linebacker, if anything at all, would be the way to go. I feel like Bernard, he's a great player. I like him a lot, but he's hurt often. And when he comes back within 2 games, I bet he gets hurt again.
Are the Seahawks, were they that bad yesterday? Because I'll be honest, watching that game, I was almost bored that they were that bad.
They were. I think they were that bad. I think we had a lot that went in our way for once, which was great.
Except penalties.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, except for penalties, of course.
Most of the season so far.
13.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
It was like 25 penalties yesterday.
Yeah. I think the penalties themselves have to. They got to figure something out.
They got to clean that shit up
because that against good teams like better than Seattle, which I thought Seattle. I think Seattle was a world beater, but I thought they were better than that yesterday.
I will say this: weren't most of the offensive line penalties was either Dawkins or Spencer Brown? And I'll say this: loud environment, the 2 furthest guys away from Josh.
Valid point.
That's the only excuse I have. I mean.
No harm, no foul. We're not going to nitpick the penalties.
No. But you're going to have to clean that shit up against better teams.
And I think they will. They recognize that. They watch enough film to realize that one. But I think all of them sleep on the offensive line, including Josh sleeps well last night after that game.
Do you guys feel good about the depth that you have in the D tackles? Tuhill, Smoot, Austin Johnson. Did Oliver do much yesterday?
He did not. He played, which was great. But I think when Dwayne Carter comes back, I think he's supposed to be out for 4 weeks. I think
they put him on IR.
Yeah.
Because I guess they're going to use Von Miller to take that if they were going to bring somebody in. And that guy that they got from Atlanta, Logie, not cutting it.
Yeah, so
slow start.
Is he even on the team at all? Like,
I think he is.
I don't think is he played in a game?
That I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen him yet. I think that the D tackles are decent. I don't think there's a ton of depth, but I mean, I think that you're not going to have a ton of depth.
I guess my question is the D tackles doing enough where Rousseau is leading the league with pressures, but no one else on that line is helping him out?
I think we've got to almost pivot a little bit. I'm going to go to Brendan on this one. Are you satisfied Damar Hamlin's your guy in the secondary? Because if the answer is no, then we're done with the D tackle off defensive line.
You got 2 guys back that are on the bench that could be playing, and they're not.
I'm just saying. I know. I'm just saying.
Edwards and Bishop.
I'm just saying. But they haven't beat out Hamlin yet, so he's been the one who's been kind of.
He's the Hamlin monitor,
right? I mean, where are you with that?
I mean, he didn't play a bad game yesterday.
He had a nice tackle and kept the guy in bounds.
True. He's still slow.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Still can't really cover people very well.
That's why he held the guy's jersey in the end zone for the penalty.
Yeah. Yep. But you do have Rapp, and hopefully...
God, that guy lays his body out every time.
And that's the concerning part. He plays like Poyer.
Wow.
Where he's like just, 1,000% all the time. And so I have not a lot of confidence he's not going to get hurt again, too.
My concern with guys that play football like that is, one, staying healthy, because you're just throwing your body around, you're going to get a concussion probably. But 2, you're also, it's like a 50-50 hit, right? Like you think you're going to line him up, you jump for him, and you completely crush him, or you completely miss, and it turns into a big play. I'd rather you wrap up the dude at the legs.
Yeah.
Not go for the Hall of Fame highlight reel hit.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor, he's just fun to watch. I mean, how he gets in there so much. He's got the Guardian cap on, so hopefully that helps with the head stuff.
He went in, kind of what you were alluding to. He went in, and you could see it coming. He was like a lightning bolt, and it was neither. The guy had already been tackled, so it wasn't like he broke free, but he completely missed the tackle. But he went in like a heat-seeking miss, and I'm just glad he didn't run in and hurt himself. But he was going full steam ahead.
Yeah,
but then he was the guy against the Jets who tackled Breece Hall in the open field. Mm-hmm. So he definitely knows how to tackle.
Yeah.
Which is good to know.
I mean, that game you could have totally missed on some of those hits. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
guys that play like that are
All
like
or
50-50 sometimes. They want to go for that monster hit. Most of the time they miss the tackles. Like, what Bills game was it where a guy came flying in to hit Cook and completely whiffed on him? Whatever. Anyways. Is there other, I mean, okay, so who do we play next? We play Miami at home.
Yep.
Tua was like, 28 of 38 or something, 230 some yards.
Yeah.
Had a decent day.
It didn't matter, though.
Yeah, they still lost.
They suck. How are they not winning?
I think they're already admitting defeat. I think the white flag's already up.
Maybe they got some pieces to trade.
Not in division, though, I don't think.
Well, no. I mean, what? Every team below us is all 2-6?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. We're 3.5. I'm not sure why we're 3.5, but we're for me, 4 games ahead in the division.
Somebody had their bye.
Oh,
I think they're
Miami.
on 5.
Miami.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I
They'll be
mean,
2-6 next week.
I mean, we got the Dolphins next week at home, then the Colts, then the schedule tightens up a little bit.
okay, so if the Bills play like they play yesterday, they should beat Miami.
Mm-hmm.
They should beat the Colts.
That's in Indianapolis.
And then who do you get? Niners?
Nope. You got the Chiefs, then the bye,
And then the Niners.
and then the Niners, Rams, Lions, and then they finish with, by all means, it should be a cakewalk schedule.
Listen.
Patriots, Jets, Patriots.
Listen.
Playoffs?
You know,
kidding
listen.
me? Playoffs?
This is crazy for me to come out and say, but I think the only team that could beat them the rest of the season is Detroit. They have great chances of beating the Chiefs this year, who are not playing well at all.
I feel good about that.
The Niners are still hampered with injuries and whatnot. I don't think there is. And then, okay, let's talk about another game. How the fuck did the Browns beat the Ravens yesterday? What the frick?
I mean,
Divisional game.
Divisional. Yeah.
Whenever division games happen, you kind of don't know what's going to happen because, you know, like you're saying about Taylor Rapp being 50-50 kind of. That's how division games are. I feel like how maybe you make it a real stinker because one team is way better, the other team is not. But then you get a game like yesterday with Cleveland, and Cleveland doesn't belong with Baltimore really, but you know there they were.
You're telling me Jameis Winston was the only thing they had to change and get rid of Cooper, and now you can beat Baltimore?
he played
Well,
great.
they got Chubb back too, and I don't know.
Is Chubb better than Cook?
I mean, not.
I'm
right.
trying to circle around to see what they did that we couldn't do to beat them.
He's a different back. I mean,
Older.
yeah, but he's a more thicker back.
But also Cleveland's defense is very good.
Right.
Their defensive line is much better than ours. Come on.
You made a snickering face like he's wrong. I
know,
don't disagree.
Not that he's wrong. I actually apologize, Brendan. I was actually
you
looking
better.
at the Ravens schedule, and that's kind of what I was looking at because we were talking about it on the Pizza Podcast. Yesterday was a great day. The Bengals lost, not that they were a threat, but the Bengals, Ravens, Dolphins, and Jets
Bud,
all in our
we
division.
didn't talk on the Pizza Podcast yet.
We kind of had that pre-conversation a little bit earlier. That's
okay.
yeah. I'm going back. So, not only did we win, not only distanced ourselves within our division, a couple of our rivals lost as well. So it really was a great game. When Brendan was talking about that, I pulled up the Ravens schedule, and that's kind of what I was grimacing at. They play the NFC East, so they got the Eagles, they got the Giants.
Dude, Washington's winning.
I think they
Did you
already
guys see that crazy Hail Mary?
Yes.
And that
Yeah.
asshole taunting
Yeah.
the crowd?
Did
Yeah.
you see, there was like there was a bunch of Chicago fans in the end zone
yeah,
pointing to him,
pointing.
like, look. And in the meantime, he's on the side, like, playing with the fans.
Dude, that was funny.
And the Ravens beat them, by the way,
Beat who?
Commanders.
Oh, they already played.
So they already played them. So I'm looking at their schedule, and they've got kind of layups coming up too. So it's like, if you're looking at the division right now, the Bills sit third, but that's only because Baltimore lost.
I don't think that we really have a chance at the conference, honestly. I think that it's either Kansas City or it's Baltimore's. We're going to just, have to be happy with the division. And
Are you
let the
expecting
chips fall where
expecting
they
a game lost that we shouldn't lose and that's going to screw us?
Oh, yeah, every year.
Okay.
And I don't think it was the Texans game. I think we have another stinker coming up.
That was a good team though.
Yeah. But I'm thinking the Rams game could be a sneaky game
Yep.
that we just don't show up
Yeah,
for.
but they play great. They've got the receivers back. They played great on Thursday night, I believe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't sleep on them. I wouldn't. The Bills can't get overconfident. We can't get overconfident. We've got it. We know a stinker's probably going to come. But I wouldn't sleep on anybody short of the Jets or the Patriots.
Are you guys 100% on this offense? Because I watched that game yesterday, and it was like all they could do was play call 90% of them 10 yards or less plays.
That's been all season, though.
Like, you're not. How are you going to win games against big teams and in the playoffs? I can't say it's not possible because that's how Tom Brady made his living, right? Dinking and dunking, and having guys.
And really, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about it that they're relying more on yards after the catch more than ever, and so it's kind of like, hey, just get the ball into a receiver's hands, into Cook's hands in a flat, into one of your tight ends, move the chains, just keep working your way down the field, like. We've been saying it quite a bit. We don't want hero ball. We don't want 30, 40-yard passes all multiple times during the game. Like, yeah, take a shot here or there. But I think that for the most part, I think that's your offense. And it's kind of a lot of the NFL offenses now are kind of just that, like, just keep chipping your way down the field, keep working it down. And, outside of a 2-minute drill, I don't think we're really going to be having quick strikes.
Let's give the positions on the offense a really quick grade. All right, I'm going to forego quarterback.
Hold on. One last thing about the 10-yard or less plays. When you watch football games, does it seem like the Bills throw a lot of balls behind the line of scrimmage more often than other teams do?
I don't know about that.
And do any of them ever usually work?
A couple of times.
Yesterday they were working better. So the thing I was going to say about yesterday was the Seahawks going into the game with the number one passing defense.
Yes.
Embarrassed them.
We kind of got away with one there. I think a big thing, like Brendan was saying about getting the ball to the wide receivers and things like that, like Keon Coleman, he's really turning into something.
He is.
A little quicker than I thought he would. Yeah. So he's getting some yak yards and you're down the field. And so that's great. He's got the big contested catch for the touchdown. So I feel like just get the ball into your playmakers and let it happen.
Okay, Sean, let's go to your quiz.
I'll take quarterback.
Your game.
All right, here, so it's real simple. I'll go right around the table. Give specific offensive positions grades. Quarterback's A+. That goes without saying. Right here.
Your man crush.
Even
Right
after
there.
the first interception of the season.
Okay. He didn't flench. It was no big deal.
Did Cooper run the wrong route?
No, I think Josh threw it too far inside.
Someone told me that I didn't see
He
it. I
slipped,
was
but
listening
he
on the
still threw
radio.
that ball inside.
I heard the receiver slipped. And
He
that
slipped,
kinda led
but
to
it's
it.
not like he threw it where Cooper was. He threw it where Cooper was going, and that D-back looked like he jumped in front of him a little bit.
He did seem to make a nice play. And, Josh, like one interception through 8 games. I mean,
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
You
And you know
can't
what?
beat
Now that streak's over, he doesn't have to worry about it and start slinging the ball.
Yeah.
Okay, who am I going at?
Running backs. What grade would you give our running backs? The whole unit.
I would give them a solid A.
Okay. That's a fair.
Because James Cook,
Ray Davis?
and
Yeah.
and Ty Johnson. You got 3 good running backs. You could bring in any one of them.
Yep.
You know what I noticed was Ray Davis, I saw him in the first quarter, and I didn't see him until the fourth quarter. Did something happen? I didn't hear that he was hurt or anything like that. He came back to play in the fourth quarter.
No idea. I just know that he got called for an unfortunate crackback block.
Oh, that was a good block, though.
What they call him, defenseless or something?
Yes.
Where he got him in the shoulder. I thought it's not like he.
I mean, it wasn't.
It's all about the head.
Yeah, I think the refs just wanted to try to control that game yesterday.
Yeah,
You get Denny, tight ends, in offensive line.
I thought the tight ends played really well. Kincaid had the touchdown. Dawson Knox, I think he had 2 long catches.
He did have longer balls.
Yeah, as we all do, getting older, right? I thought the offensive line did pretty well for the most part. Too many penalties, like we talked about before. But I think overall they did well. Our running backs, like you alluded to, Kyle, did really well. So I think that they go hand in hand with each other.
8 games in the season. What grade?
B+.
Okay. Brendan.
Oh, hold on. I got a question
Hand
on the line. Have you noticed that the interior linemen, not including our 2 tackles, Dawkins and Spencer Brown, have been very quiet all season? Like, I don't hear shit about those 3 interior guys.
Which is good.
Yeah.
That's the key to a good offensive lineman.
Like,
You
I don't
their
hear
name.
penalties on them ever. It's
They don't
usually
get the
Dawkins or
holds.
Brown or
Yeah.
both of them.
Right.
Yep,
So I'm pleased with that so far.
It's good.
definitely.
And health.
Yeah,
They have stayed healthy. Yep.
have.
Knock on that
Knock on wood.
drink holder Corey built.
Thank you, Corey.
Which we were nervous about because they don't really have depth
The
there.
holders? Oh, the linemen.
No,
yes.
the linemen.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
have like one guy backing up all 5 of them.
Yeah, we got one. Yeah.
One depth guy.
Yeah.
Brendan, you got
What do you have
receivers.
me receivers. I
What
thought you were going
grade?
to give me the kicking game.
Oh, no.
No. We don't need to grade him. He was perfect.
He was
Yeah,
good.
he made one.
He was good.
Yeah. With the addition of Cooper and Shakir back healthy and Coleman showing out, definitely haven't, needed to compare him to Worthy lately. He's had 2 spectacular games in a row. I would say probably a B plus.
I'm going to throw you a question to tease Kyle a little bit. Coleman right now, 8 games in. Where would you slot him if we were to have him last year? If we had Diggs, Coleman, Davis, Shakir. I have in my brain where I think I would slot him, but where would you slot Coleman?
Are you talking about in terms of number 1 receiver to 4th receiver?
Sure.
Is that how
How would you
asking
rank
this?
them? Yeah. If Coleman, from what you've seen so far, if you could put him in that receiver core last year, where would he be in that rotation?
He's probably number 3.
Okay. Yeah. See, I think he's actually a slight upgrade. Sorry, Kyle. Than
To
Gabe
Davis?
Yeah.
They throw him the ball more.
They do.
Well, it's kind of out of necessity, though.
Absolutely,
He's just there.
because Matt Collins is a dummy. Not like he's a dummy. He's like a distraction out there.
I tell you.
Hey, that was a good muff punt there.
Yeah.
Yes,
Great recovery.
Yes, but in terms of receiver play, they're not throwing him the ball anymore. I think they know what they got in him,
Yeah, he
and
can't
they're
catch.
they're just having him out there blocking.
Who are you talking about?
Matt Collins.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't really.
So
And
you're
Samuel, he's still hurt.
still hurt.
Yeah.
So,
But
that's all you got.
but you got 3 really competent
So let
receivers.
me ask you about the receivers. So if Samuel comes back healthy, Highlands gets the bench. So then you have Shakir, Cooper.
I mean, Samuel was just like a scheme guy anyway. He was only out there for like
they got to use.
screen passes.
They got to
and-
figure out how to get him in the offense.
See, I thought Samuel was a great pickup, and then he didn't do any. He's
they
got
haven't
10
used
catches
him
the
right.
whole year. Yeah,
They haven't used him right.
so I think that
Or at all.
he's got to play a little bit more once he's healthy. I don't know what's. I think it's shoulder. I think.
Were you guys disappointed with the amount of play that Cooper got yesterday? He got more in the first game than yesterday, didn't he?
No. Yeah, yes, you're correct on that one, but I wasn't disappointed at all.
I mean, he had the touchdown, but it was like, what, a 12-yard touchdown, and he was wide open, basically. I mean, he just got the one
Wait.
in the first game.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I
it
was
was 2
gonna
weeks
say.
ago.
In the first
What
game.
game did I miss yesterday?
Yeah. No, and then he just got the 2 targets yesterday. I mean, sometimes you're going to be Diggs. You're going to be the distraction. You're the guy who's
Oh, you
getting
mean
double covered.
you mean everybody eats?
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be.
Everyone did.
Shut the fuck up.
Everyone did.
I don't know if he's the type of guy that's going to complain, but
No.
they spread the ball around.
A family friend from Cleveland, Ohio, messaged me yesterday. I'm going to read this verbatim. She has been a Cleveland Browns ticket holder for years.
Poor girl.
She was my neighbor when I lived in Cleveland. She lived across the street.
Oh, okay.
She says, do you still do your podcast? If so, as a fellow Lake Erie and Lake Effect Snow compatriot, please ask your religious listeners to pray that the Browns lose every game from here on out. We can pretty much handle today on our own. We finally have a first-round pick next year and the opportunity to continue our legacy of screwing those up, and we don't need any moral victories dropping us in the draft order.
Sounds like drought Buffalo Bills fans.
Tank.
And then
But
I
I
said,
understand.
LMAO, we still do the pod. We love having Cooper.
Thanks for listening.
She says, yeah. She says, you can have him. Wait till something makes him mad, then he's a whiny toddler. So we'll find out when that day happens. So shout out to Gail.
Probably depends too. I mean, the quality of the team you're on. I
Sure.
mean,
Who wants to be on a shitty team?
yeah, it's easier to complain when you're on a team like that versus a contender.
Hey, we're winning football games and I'm not getting 6 catches. I'm only getting 2.
Right.
Yeah, well, I think
Very
there's a lot
Diggs-esque.
too with Deshaun Watson. There was a lot of, I guess you would call him like politics, kind of. I'm sure there was kind of coming from the owner to make sure that Deshaun Watson played before he got hurt. because he wasn't playing that well.
Right.
So I don't think that was a coach's decision.
Right.
But I mean, they gave him $250 million guaranteed, I think. So they're going to make sure you play him.
Yep.
So to have that be your quarterback, and to have that not be anything that the coach did or the team coming from upstairs management kind of thing, then that's probably a little rough to deal with.
Let me ask you a question about Deshaun Watson. If we had a situation here in Buffalo where we had Deshaun Watson, we paid him a lot of money, what would you want the team to do with that guy? Because like at this point, is he like intentionally sucking when he's in there, or is he really trying? Like, because you can't bench him because you're paying him.
Yeah.
Unless he gets hurt, so you keep playing him, and then he gets hurt, and then you can get out of that money, I think.
He does seem to get hurt a lot now. I mean, last year he only
That's
played.
what I heard.
I don't think you can get out of it
Yeah,
for just injury.
I think it's $250
fully
million
guaranteed.
guaranteed.
Oh.
I mean, the contract in and of itself is just a dumpster fire.
Oh, dude.
It's one of the worst contracts ever made, and they really can't get out of it, and I don't see anybody picking it up.
Which is weird because they're an age team. They're not a team that has starting up, got to get fan bases. It seems like such an odd move considering was it Baker Mayfield?
Yeah.
He was in commercials. I mean, he wasn't an elite Josh Allen type quarterback, but he kind of stabilized the franchise.
Yeah,
and probably Watson's probably overall better quarterback than him. But for what they gave up, what they signed him for, with all the baggage, it seemed like a rookie franchise desperate for fans move at the time, and they didn't need to go in that direction.
Yes. I have an idea that just popped into my brain. Are there any Cleveland Brown original players on that Ravens team?
Not anymore.
Probably not.
Because they moved in 2000, I believe.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll double check. It might be 90. I'll double check. It might be 98. But
I was just thinking, like,
It was
99 was
the
when the
90s.
Browns started, I think. The new Browns started. So it would have been like 95, actually, because the Ravens, 96, 95,
There's
96.
definitely no players, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I was just thinking, how shitty would that be?
No, yeah,
Okay.
96.
All right.
I mean, that had to be terrible for the Cleveland fans. I mean, that's got to be.
The team moves, and then now they're winning
Yeah,
championships
yeah.
and shit.
Yeah, and they're in
then
your
stuck
division, so
with
they
this.
beat your ass a couple times a year, except for yesterday, of course.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, boy. All right, anyways. Are you doing defensive grades, too?
We can.
All right, so, Brendan, you finished off, circle back to that, you Bs.
Yeah, I think we're a solid B in the receiving core for now. B teetering on B plus, seeing as what happens here.
Those are pretty good grades. I mean, you asked the question. You started this off by how do you feel about the offensive side of the ball? I mean, Bs and As across the board.
Sure. What do you think about Joe Brady and his scheming? I saw a lot of arena football movement pre-snap. I did like that move.
The one where there's multiple people.
No.
In
Where the
motion,
guy,
they got
where the guy
penalty.
goes, where the guy goes in motion, then he circles behind the running back. I don't know what they
Shakir.
think.
I think that was.
I don't know
Shakir's
what
throw.
they're trying to
Yeah.
trick people thinking that he's going to throw a giant pitch out to the left.
You know who used to do that was Beasley. He used to do that every now and then. And one of the plays he did it on, it was against the Chargers. The Bills were at home against the Chargers, and he threw a touchdown pass.
Maybe that'll happen.
Yeah, you never know.
I mean, do you guys like what they're calling the plays?
I look at their overall record. You're 6-2.
Come on, stop giving me that.
I'm sorry. I mean, think
Nitpick-
about where
nitpick-
we
nitpick
think.
the game.
I'm trying to think about where. But listen, revisionist history. Think about where we were last year. We were blowing this whole franchise up last year. Granted, I would have liked to have gotten one of those wins, ideally against the Texans, but we didn't. We're 6-2. It's hard to be uber critical of a franchise when they're clear favorite to win their division halfway through the season.
Wait a minute. The Texans game last year was the one
No,
loss
I'm
you won
sorry.
back?
No, I meant the one this year. I misspoke.
Oh.
Like if they go 7-1, I mean they're right up there with the Chiefs. They're in everybody's Super Bowl. I mean one win. They're in everybody's Super Bowl discussion.
If I'm nitpicking, the one thing I would say is that we could have ran the ball more towards the end of the game. Like I felt we were kind of
Conservative.
Yeah. Like I thought that we could have just ran the ball kind of down their throat a little bit, and I don't think we were doing that really.
How bad was it raining there yesterday? They showed some times where it was coming down, and I'm thinking that affected the decisions to maybe throw the ball more.
Which you should run the ball more, I feel.
Yeah, that's
True.
exactly what
And
I was
speaking
thinking.
of running the
Yeah.
ball, did Josh Allen run the ball too much? Because there were a couple times where I'm like, why would you run it there?
I mean, I don't think Josh Allen ran it too much. What I was thinking was it was probably like late third, early fourth, and I was thinking like, at the time I don't know what the score was, but it
was out of hand.
Yeah, it was getting out of hand, and so I was like, put Ray Davis in there. He's more of a downhill runner. At that point, Cook was probably on his way to 100 yards. Still put him in there a little bit. I felt like they could have got Josh out of there a little bit earlier than what they did. Those are little nitpicky things, though. I felt like the big thing that I liked yesterday was we were talking last week about the starts to the games.
Yep.
Yesterday they started great.
Yep.
Both sides of the ball, really.
We haven't even brought up the defensive play. Like
Yeah.
the
We're not there
defensive
yet.
play.
We're not there yet.
No, not overall grades, but like we got to jump in and make sure we don't forget about how they stuffed them
Yeah.
twice inside the 5-yard line.
Oh, yeah.
That was
And the
amazing.
defensive tackle got an interception.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Oh my God! Yeah, I mean that was fantastic. Big guy like that
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
it right. Who doesn't enjoy that?
Okay, finish up with this offense thing, and then we'll get to that.
I was pretty much done for the most part. I mean, I felt like the early start, I feel like you kind of dictate things, and I feel like in a strange way that's kind of what they did. They had the Bills had the ball roll their way a lot of different ways yesterday, which usually doesn't happen.
Correct.
But I feel like they kind of got the ball rolling, and they were good at they were good the first quarter, and the score was only I think 7-3 or something like that. But
Correct.
I mean, they definitely played better than what they had in the previous games.
Do you think these wide receivers are getting decent separation? That's right. Like is he throwing guys open, or is he just throwing to spots and they, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Well, the first touchdown was spots, and Coleman made a nice one-handed grab.
Dude, I cannot believe that he tried throwing that ball. He tried that one-arm catch, and then 2 plays later they throw it to this other side of the field and it actually worked. And he lucked down, caught that ball.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Some plays, like Kincaid was pretty open on that one play. He just,
It was a perfectly schemed. I know you guys don't want to hear it, but a well-coached game.
It actually was. There's very little that we can really nitpick here. Like, the penalties we talked about, I feel like
Didn't hurt you.
One big thing I have here is sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Like, I think I texted that yesterday to you guys.
Yeah.
And like that was after I think the Josh Allen when he fumbled on third down.
Oh,
and Ty
my
Johnson
God.
dove on it.
Yeah.
I mean,
that would never go our way.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, if we were playing the Chiefs, it probably doesn't go our way, but
Or when Geno Smith's foot got stepped on when they were
which happens all the
there and
time.
he fell out.
That kind of thing happens all the time. So I mean, it's kind of one of those things. So when it happens to you, you hate it. When it happens to the other team, you're just like, oh, great.
I think the last
play.
drive, the last Bills drive where they scored points, the Seahawks had 3 consecutive penalties to keep the ball going. Like, I mean, what team do you see that happen in a professional?
Was that?
Yeah, they were just shooting themselves in the foot
Literally.
the whole game.
Well, and then they were fighting with each other too.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Pretty bad too.
Yeah.
Well, that was the late hit, right?
Yeah,
Or if
that was late
late
hit.
hit on
But then
Josh,
on the
yeah.
sidelines, it still
yeah.
was happening.
Do you think that guy's going to get fined for the helmet to helmet?
I hope he is. Yeah.
What about when the center threw that ball way over Geno's head?
Oh yeah, that was like they lost like 30 yards.
Yeah.
Good thing that Kenneth Walker picked it up and got it back to like the 20 or something like that.
They shut him down. So, right. So now, are we all set with the offense? We can get to the
Yeah.
defensive side of the
Sure,
ball.
yeah.
So,
Kyle,
what?
did your power go out again?
Geez, sounds like someone didn't pay the electric bill.
Well, it's probably that outlet that I tried to install for the arcade machine in our studio. But I'll tell you what, I definitely paid it because it's not like I'm spending money on pizzas.
Kyle, you better call Mike at MJB Electric at 716-465-5017.
You know what, Dennis? That is a fantastic idea.
I'm full of them.
All right, go Bills.
Go Bills.
Okay, so who is your star on the defense, Sean?
Ooh, hit me here. Oh, jeez. I mean, who's the star on defense? Can you come back to me on this?
Sure,
one?
Dennis, Brendan.
I would say that was Bobby Babich because they played pretty well. No big penalties stick out. I mean, the Hamlin one in the end zone. I feel like that alludes to what you were saying about him being slow. He kind of cheated a little bit to catch up, and so I would say Bobby Babich. I mean, that's because nobody, minus the one interception by the big D tackle that we talked about, nobody really stood out for the most part. Like there was nobody with like 3 sacks or anything like that.
Could you tell that Spector was in there? Like, was he not as good Was he what you expected?
What I expected. I mean, I noticed a couple of times, but I didn't. It wasn't anything crazy bad.
Did you think Dorian Williams played well?
Not particularly. Okay. I felt like he was kind of. I felt like yesterday he was kind of chasing a little bit more than usually. He's right in there, but I felt like he was chasing a little bit more yesterday.
Yeah.
But
all right, Brendan.
You know, I don't want to harp on this game too much, either positively or negatively, because honestly, this game was exactly what we predicted it to be last week. I think actually a couple of us almost nailed the score.
Yeah, we did.
I think we said
a lot of
31,
31,
13, 27 and 9, close in there.
Yeah.
Seattle, kind of was who I thought they were, that they were not very good. I think Geno Smith still sucks. People say like, oh, he just needs a system that, he can work within, and I think Seattle is it. I think he's not a good quarterback.
Yeah, he's been around for like 10 years, something like that, right? So, I mean, when is he going to start being good?
Right, and they had no DK Metcalf, which was great for us. And then, like we talked about last week, the biggest threat was Kenneth Walker, and they really shut him down.
Yeah, I think he had 1 yard for the first half.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was just them completely disrespecting the throwing game and just playing run pretty much the whole time. But, kudos to them for game planning that. And the defense looked great. I'm not going to say our defense is spectacular, but you shut down a team that you kind of knew what you had there. And everything that we thought they should do, they did, which turned out, the way you want it to be.
Yeah, I was thinking still at the end of the day, like last week, 10 points. I mean, no matter what, we let 10 points in. So
yeah,
I'm going to say Greg Rousseau definitely continued the steps he'd been taking in the absence of Von Miller. I thought he had a pretty good game building off of the Jets game. I thought he stood out to me in terms of his play. You got to give any time a defensive tackle gets an interception plus yards to boot. I thought the defensive line had a really strong game considering how touted that running back from Seattle was. Mm-hmm. I think, 13 yards through 3 quarters? It was
I lost track, yeah.
In a professional football game, if you can hold any running back to 13 yards through almost 45, 50 minutes, you're doing something right.
Yeah, because even on one play, a guy can slip and the running back gets out for 20 yards.
Boom.
You know what I mean?
That's it. It only takes one play.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal. And that was the thing I think that scared a lot of Bills fans was their running game.
Yep. He ended up with 12 to finish the game. 12 yards.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, the way I was kind of thinking about yesterday a little bit was similar to the Ravens game, and hear me out, in the way that like you kind of almost have to forget about it because it was so good that like it's not going to be that way every week. It rarely is ever that good. So you kind of have to put it behind you. Just like the Ravens game was as bad as it can get. So you just got to put it behind you. Go move on to the next week. Yeah, next week it's a divisional game. We already talked about how the Dolphins are pretty terrible. We just have to bring our A game no matter what, and just see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know if Greg Rousseau was, I believe, the most pressures in the NFL going into yesterday's game, or is after the game also. But he definitely was the league leader going into the game. Right. I don't know if he was after the game.
He's where I think in years past, this is his 4th season, I think he was kind of a ghost almost to some extent. He might make a play, maybe 2 if we were lucky in a game that really made him stand out, but then that was kind of it. I think over the last month, he's been extremely noticeable.
Yes. You know what would get him more noticed if he actually is putting quarterbacks on the ground.
And I get that. And I really do get that. But there was a time early in the 90s.
Because pressures don't necessarily mean the quarterback's not making plays.
But that's a skewed stat. Only because you don't know how many times a quarterback's handing the ball off. I mean, if the guy's going to get the ball.
You think they're going to call that a QB pressure if he's handing the ball off?
No. I'm just saying you got to have the opportunity to get sacks. If a team's running the ball 40 times a game, you have 0 chance of getting a sack compared to if they're always dropping back. You got an opportunity.
Yeah, true.
So that's why it's a bit of a skewed stat. I mean, back in the day, if you got 16, 17 sacks, that was record-breaking, you were going to Pro Bowl. I mean, that's over 17 games. I mean, it's a lot, but really, you get 10 to 13. That's listen.
Who's leading the league right now in sacks?
I'm on it.
Okay. Is it TJ Watt? Is it?
Nope, it's not. I know Aiden Hutchinson was doing it before he got hurt.
Oh.
He's probably still in the top 5, I'm guessing.
Yeah. What about, he doesn't play anymore. What's Chris Jones got?
Lawrence is at 9 sacks from New York. Lawrence is second. 9 sacks. McDonald, the Jets, 8. Hutchinson, Detroit, 7.5.
Wow. Who's Lawrence?
He is a defensive lineman on the New York Giants.
Yeah, he's good. He's definitely very good.
Wow.
He's probably their best player.
Like I said, I would like to see sacks.
You know who the Bills' number 1 sack leader is?
Right now?
Yeah.
Epinesa.
Yeah, it is.
With 2?
Yeah.
Is it really 2?
Yeah.
Tied
not-
with Von Miller.
Wait,
That's
didn't-
not good.
Didn't Von Miller have 3 before he got suspended?
Yeah.
I got Von Miller. Von Miller does not.
Yeah, he does. He has 3.
No,
remember?
I know. I'm just looking at it.
Remember that streak was 3 games and then that ended?
Yeah.
So Von Miller is the Bills' number 1 sack leader right
No.
now?
Epinesa's got 4. Von Miller.
4.
Russo has 3.5. Von Miller has 3.
Okay.
That's what you're at. I mean, but the leaderboard is you got your guy's got 4. It's 9. I mean, I get it, double, but in the scheme of things, if you want to be nitpicky, sure, maybe you are on something with the defensive line.
Right. So is that the one thing that this team is really missing is a dominant guy who's getting sacks?
I just want to remind you, T.J. Watt's got 4.5, so it's not like anyone's setting the world on fire.
I guess it would be nice that if like Epinesa had a couple more, Ed Alver had a couple more.
Yeah.
Daquan Jones, is he even on the team still? Like,
Yeah,
is
he
he
got
doing
a penalty
anything?
yesterday. I think he did,
Okay.
which is frustrating because he's right in front of the ball.
Right.
He's a nose tackle. So
Those
he's
2 guys should not be
Yeah.
getting encroachment penalties.
It's like when the center gets a false start.
You don't see that too often.
Yeah.
I mean, you still have consistent, stupendous play from your cornerbacks. Safety, that's Brendan's guy, Hamlin.
Better than expected.
Yeah, I would say better than expected. Yeah.
And Taylor and Tyron Johnson still playing well.
Yeah.
So your linebackers are suspect. And then, your D tackles.
Yeah, you were talking about Rousseau before. Like you've said it before too, that it's frustrating because he's good and he's like almost there,
A knuckle away from a tackle.
Yeah, exactly. He's almost there.
Like he's just reaching out and just misses his sweater.
I feel like it's like the Epinesa play from last week when he almost got the interception.
Yeah.
It hit him in the hands literally.
Yeah.
That's kind of how Rousseau is on almost every play. He's almost right there.
Yeah, I don't know how you fix that, if you even need to.
I think because he was that way last year too. So I was hoping that you kind of take a step.
Yeah,
and I don't think he has yet, but he's gonna be coming up for contract. I think probably at the end of the year. So we'll see.
Okay.
At least he's consistent, though. At least he's not taking a step back.
Yeah.
So he's still there. He's still putting pressure on. And some of these quarterbacks, that's all you need.
Yeah.
Well, right, and that's what I guess I should have just said is the quarterback pressures enough to help this defense.
It's going to be with Tua, that's for sure. I mean, I think he has PTSD from playing the Bills, every time.
Now, he did not wear a Guardian, right?
He did not. He said it was a personal choice of not wearing it. But however, I saw.
Do you think he'll put one on in the Bills game?
I don't know. I mean, he might not come out of the tunnel. Who knows?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny?
and I feel bad, and I don't want to sound crass or unsensitive here.
Fire away.
Hey, Sabres down 3-2.
Yeah, I know.
It's getting close.
Yeah, they were down 2-0, and they tied it at 2, but then they did what Buffalo does best.
Darlene and Zucker, power play. 2 power play goals now.
That's impressive. I think there's a human element there to kind of go easy on an opponent like this when you've had so much. I don't want to say trauma. It's not fair. These guys played in the NFL.
Every play's a trauma.
I don't want to sit there and I hope they let up on him. I do think it's human nature because this guy's taking such a beating, and it is kind of like taking his life in his own hands. I don't care what anyone says.
Not to completely overspeak, but I was watching highlights of the Dolphins game, and there was a play where Tua ran out for 5 yards, maybe a little more, and he eventually slid. But the Cardinals defensive guy, you could tell that he definitely held up. Yeah. I mean, like looking at it, like what Tua went through, he definitely held up more than he would have normally.
Well, I think you'd have the entire stadium if you were to take a shot like that at this guy. Yeah. Leave the benches, leave the seats.
You said he was sliding?
Yeah, he started the slide.
Oh, well,
You know
that'd
how
be
when
penalty
they
anyways.
start
Well,
the
yeah,
slide-
but I think you take your own life in your hands if in that
Yeah.
stadium. If your guy comes back from like his 12th concussion, you slide, you hit him helmet to helmet. God forbid. I think
Unless-
I think the fans leave the stadium.
Unless Greg Williams is your coach and he's going to pay you.
You know, I kind of have to battle back a little bit on that. So I'm thinking
Battle away.
exactly because they're the paid athletes.
Yep.
And so I feel like it's to his choice to be there.
I agree.
He knows all the what's
Enter at your
happening.
own risk.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Like we say before the show, it's explicit. There you go.
And I do believe you're right. I
Yeah.
think these guys are professionals. They're wired differently, like most professionals in most sports.
But
I do think they can separate themselves and put that
you
aside.
did bring up a good point with
but there
that.
is the human aspect of, geez.
right, you don't want to be the guy that kills him when he's going down to make a legal slide, and you're going to
Yeah.
freaking blast him.
Yeah. Although if it's Hamlin again, that'll be. I mean,
What, he bounces off Hamlin's heart?
yeah.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I kind of side with Dennis here. I kind of think that these guys, like, if you think about all the times that you like youth sports and you played a team that you played before that you know this team sucks, and you just go and you're just like licking your chops. Like, I feel like that's kind of how they're going to be. Like, they're a team that, like we just said, they don't get a lot of sacks. So can you get in there, pad your stats a little bit, put the pressure on this guy? Yeah, they don't want to hurt him, but I don't think it's
They might. Maybe
No,
not.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't know. It's a divisional rival that, I mean, fans don't like Miami. I don't know how they feel about Miami.
Yeah.
They've owned Miami. I think they want to continue doing that. I don't feel like they let up.
I will disagree with that only because what is weird to me is when the games are over, how buddy people are after the game. When we played football back,
Yeah.
I mean, it's high school, but like game's over. I don't even remember if we shook hands after the game. We just left.
didn't.
Like I didn't want to talk to unless it was some kid I knew, and we would meet up because we were buddies and he left and moved or something like that.
It might be.
We were not hugging and taking pictures and swapping jerseys, and
Yeah.
It might be that
so maybe they would hold up because they're buddies now.
we bag on this generation. I think you have something to say. We did see.
I always have something to say.
Correct. We did see, even in the Seattle game, in the pro football games, especially on special teams, guys run in, run hard. Our opponent's going to tap at the back of the helmet. I was over there at the East-West football game this past weekend.
I was there too.
We're not going to bring up this score, but the amount, at least in the first half of, and these are bitter rivals. These are rivals where it's Hatfield and McCoys. It runs deep. It runs 3 generations deep in their family, and the amount of helping another opponent up, tapping on the helmet. I'd prefer to vomit on your cleats before I would ever do anything like that. It was heartening to see that. It was kind of as an adult now, because I agree with you. We would never do that.
Nope.
But like seeing the NFL, guys wishing them well, seeing these high school players help each other up, and they grind out. They got the adrenaline's pumping. They're banging. They're hitting, but then they show some sportsmanship. It was nice to see.
Yeah, and that's why I think that I don't know if they will intentionally go out and try to take him out of the NFL.
And we felt like
Maybe they will. Maybe it's different.
See, I don't think they ever go in there with the purpose of taking
Right.
the guy out. I hope that they don't.
It's not going to be Bountygate out there.
Yeah, but I think that they still need to play football, which I think we've gotten away from a little bit more.
Well,
than
let me ask you this.
what we have.
Previous hits from the Bills onto Tua, would you agree that all previous hits have been
clean.
They were clean.
All clean?
Yeah, they were all
Okay.
clean.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
okay.
the ground concussed him. Hamlin's shoulder pads concussed him. Nothing was dirty.
No,
Nothing was
yeah, I
intentional.
agree with okay.
There were no penalties thrown on any of the plays that he went out for any of his concussions.
Okay.
And the interesting thing is, Tua didn't wear the guardian cap, but one of his teammates did. A-Chain, however you say his name.
running
He said
back?
right? Yeah, the running back. He had it on because he had a concussion thing earlier in the year, so
Maybe-
he had it on. But I don't know. So I get the whole personal preference or however you put it, whatever. But that's one of those things that you can have on to help with that. And so he's out there. He knows what he's doing. He's an adult. So
my heart would go out, though. I think everyone. I'll speak
yeah.
for everyone at the table. If he gets hit, I mean, I'll take a knee injury. Not that I'm wishing it upon him, but if he gets a knee injury and he's got to sit out the game compared to another concussion, I'll be happy with that one. But if he gets another concussion on our watch, absolutely, I agree with everybody at this table. They said, I mean, my stomach would turn again.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we were saying about the knee injury, like Stephon Diggs came up with, it looks like an ACL. I don't know if they've said it officially yet, but that's what it looks like. So that's really too bad. But it's like the first thing I thought of was, well, at least it's not a head thing like Tua.
Right.
Where that's going to affect you 20 years down the road when you're playing with your grandkids and he won't know who they are.
He already got the talk. Like there's not much more levels. He's already been told by numerous athletes, by even head coaches, you need to shut it down. And if I don't think there's going to be any more runway for him if he gets another one. And they occur quite often after you've had one.
Yep.
You're more likely, I forgot what the stats are, to get another concussion immediately or within the last several weeks of you getting one.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there any evidence that the Guardians actually work?
I think that there is. I don't know what it is. I don't know the percentages or anything like that. I've heard that they do work, and you're seeing more and more guys wear them throughout, like in the actual games as opposed to just the practices. Like I mentioned, the Miami player. There was a couple when we played Tennessee. I forget who they were exactly. Of course, Taylor Rapp from us. There's a couple here and there. I know there's a lineman from Pittsburgh that was wearing it. So more and more people are wearing it for sure.
Bills and Dolphins. Bills are 6.5-point favorites.
Yep, sounds about right.
So they're really only 3.5-point favorites?
Seems light. I think that'll flux. I think that'll change as the week goes on.
Why do you think that will?
Not quite a bold move, Cotton, but I'm just going to go with the Dolphins are 2-6 and the Bills are 6-2 at home. And they dismantled the Miami Dolphins on the road with somewhat healthy Tua. And I don't know how much the Dolphins actually have to play for. I'm stunned it's only at 6. If it was in Miami, that would seem somewhat realistic. Mm-hmm. But the fact that it's home, I think that's I don't know if I would.
I think that the Bills will definitely crush the Dolphins. I think, but if you're looking at the point spread, maybe they're thinking how we were just talking about the division games,
right?
This is a division game, and Buffalo has crushed Miami. I don't know, I forget, 11 out of 12, something like that. And so maybe
I think it's 12 out of 13 or something now, or 13 out of 14.
Are they due for a close game?
Right. Well, whoever the sports book is that's on here, ESPN bet 49.5.
What was it?
49.5.
Oh, for the over-under. Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of high.
I don't know what these other numbers mean, but
I think 30-19.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
It's feasible.
I would say it'd be similar to like the score-wise would be similar to yesterday, kind of. I think the Dolphins might get a few more points, like you were saying, but I think it's probably like low 30s for us. And
you think it's going to go that well?
I mean, I do. I think that the Dolphins, they lost a lot in the offseason on defense, and they don't have Xavier Howard anymore. He was one of the cornerbacks, and he was really good. And then they lost Christian Wilkins to the Raiders, who then got hurt.
Well, let me ask you this, though. Have the Dolphins gotten better or worse since we played them last?
I mean, not better.
The only team that they have beaten since we played them is the Patriots. They've lost every other game.
And they are
and it was 15
possibly
10.
the worst team in the league.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they got better at all. I think with Tua coming back, that probably makes their offense a little bit better.
Right. They scored 27 points in this last game with Tua. In the games without him, they scored 3, 12, 15, and 10.
Okay, so Tua does help.
Yeah,
he does, but I mean, he played most of the game. The first game, the second game of the year.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He played almost all the way to the later parts of the third quarter, and so he didn't do a whole lot except for give us the ball. So I guess we can see.
Well, all I'm going to say is I hope that Tua is on his back for most of the game. And Tua, if you're listening, you need to call 716-634-6272 and ask for Dr. Bob at Doug's Chiropractic. I'm sure he's going to be able to tweak you up a little bit, make you feel better for the game after the Bills.
For sure, there's nobody better.
That's right, Doug's at chiropractic.com. 716-634-6272. Dennis, what do you think is going to happen on Sunday? Give me a prediction, and then give me if they're going to go over or under on that 49.5.
Well, I think 34-17. So I think it's
over.
over.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't think it'll be as one-sided as yesterday was against the Seahawks, but I think it'll be pretty close. I think the Dolphins kind of get a late touchdown, and I think the Bills will definitely show them who the Bills are.
Sunday's temperatures should be in the lower 50s. Cloudy, so weather should be decent for some football, for that Devil's football. Bobby Boucher.
Yep.
That foosball.
That football is for the devil. But mama, I like football.
Great movie.
Yeah. All right, Brandon.
I think that the Bills will win. I think that the Dolphins just aren't that good. I think they're kind of defeated. I think even with Tua coming back, I think that a lot of them see the writing on the wall that, hey, this season is not one that you're going to put your body on the line for, really, and go all out. So I see it not being a super close game. I definitely could be wrong, but I don't think it's
Sean's waiting for it.
I know. So if I had to put a score on this thing, I would say Dolphins 30. What'd you say? 34?
Bills 34 for me.
17.
30.
Yeah.
Dolphins 31. Bills 20.
Okay, so another over.
Yeah.
I'm going to play slightly devil's advocate with these two gentlemen right here. I could see this being the Buffalo Bills trap game. They've had so much success over the Dolphins. They're getting a banged-up Dolphins team in Buffalo.
I think
flying
that's
high over
everyone's
Seattle.
deep down
Fear.
worry,
Yeah,
concern.
I don't know. I mean, I still think the Bills win, but I think it's a closer score than what we've seen the last couple of weeks. I got the Bills winning 28-17.
28-17. Okay. I will also pick the Bills. You Bills better not screw me. I'm going to go Bills. Let's see here. I think Cooper's going to get one. Cook's going to get one. Kincaid's going to get one. 21. Josh, 28. I'm going to do 38-17. We'll see. I think it'll be a... Now, are the Dolphins going to come charged up because Tua's coming back to Buffalo or what?
I don't think so.
What do you think the chances are that they might not? There's no way they're not going to play him here.
He's
right?
going to play here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Real quick, just the stat on the Guardian. The NFL really backs the Guardian. I read a report. They had 2 years of data going into this season that showed significant decreases in concussions.
Okay.
I know the time will come. I'm sure it'll probably be in our lifetime.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
I don't think it's this bold. I just think it's good policy. I bet you in our lifetime the Guardians will be mandated equipment.
Mandated.
Yeah, I think every player will be wearing one.
Or they're going to start making the helmets that much bigger.
It's got to be a CBA. I don't know if that works, but it'll have to be organized in the CBA because it's an equipment issue. But I do see sometime in our lifetime everyone's wearing those helmets.
So where did they say they got that information from? Because it didn't seem like that they were trying it out in college or anything
Jeff
like that.
Miller, the vice president of the National Football League, came out August 8th, 2024, and was like, we've got 2 years of data saying it probably realistically cuts concussions down in half.
You know what I think they
from
said?
Where? Where did they use
I
it
looked for it.
2
I wanted to
years?
see some numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I think they said?
Bullshit.
What about you guys?
This is the research on the helmets.
We ain't found shit.
Sorry, that was long-winded to get to that. I should just cut that down to we ain't found shit. Sorry, Sean.
No problem.
Did you find, is that on what you just found on the internet?
I did the research. I looked into it. Jeff Miller, the vice president of the National Football League, seems pretty realistically in terms of me.
Okay.
But listen. I think it's a bit more serious. But if you look at the National Hockey League again with skate guards protecting your neck, things like this, it's hard for them to police that. Players don't want to do it, even though they know what the benefits are.
Is it required
It's not.
yet in the NHL,
No.
the skate guard?
No.
And there's still, 3 players left that do not have at least a half visor on? I think I saw there's 3 guys left that have no visor.
I'll look into it. Yeah, it was grandfathered in. I want to say it was grandfathered in 2008, maybe.
I think
Milan Lucic was one of them.
I think I saw something on Facebook the other day. There's 3 guys left.
Might be.
Anybody got anything else?
Just we were talking about trap games before. I think.
I thought you were going to say squish the fucking fish.
Well, definitely do that. But I think the trap games can be more the Colts. It's an away game, and the Colts aren't very good. I don't think, but they.
Who's better, the Colts or the Dolphins?
I would say Colts.
Yeah.
Are they?
I think the Colts have a little bit more talent, like wide receivers and things like that.
But is Richardson not playing well?
Well, he might just tap out and not want to play that day. Who knows?
Oh,
that was a big thing. If you guys heard about
that was
how
a
he
crazy
tapped out.
story.
Yeah, he tapped out to because you know how a running back will be like, okay, I just ran 30 yards down the field. I want a replacement. Well, the quarterback did that, and the quarterback that's never.
It was like third down too.
Yeah, that's never happened before.
When did he do this?
In the game
Yesterday.
Why? What play did he just do that he pulled himself out?
He had a scramble, and it wasn't anything. It was like 7 yards. It wasn't anything crazy. But he tapped his helmet, went out, said that he needed a break.
How many plays did he go out for?
I think just one.
Well, I don't think they made it, and then they punted, so he was.
Oh my God!
It ended the series.
I gotta see if I can find that clip on the YouTubes.
Yeah.
Or I bet you probably on ESPN for their game.
Mm-hmm. It's been talked about quite a bit.
Did you hear about this, Sean?
I did not.
Too busy looking at Bruin stats.
Speaking of that, I was pulling this up. 5 NHL players do not have a visor.
5. See, can't believe everything you see on the internet. I heard 3.
Reeves, O'Reilly, Martin, Bogosian, and Jamie Benn.
Okay, so
Sabres, ex-Sabres.
Yeah. Okay, so I did see Reeves. Who are the other 4?
Ryan O'Reilly, Matt Martin. I think he just signed a contract. Zach Bogosian and Jamie Benn.
I think the other one was Jamie Benn. I don't know if the other one was Bogosian or not.
Yeah, but those are all accurate. They do not wear a face shield. They were grandfathered in. I don't know what year they were grandfathered in.
McTavish.
Oh, without the helmet.
Yeah.
Frick.
Yeah.
That guy, I can't believe he was the last one.
Yeah.
Psycho. Couldn't get away with that now, I don't think. These guys are way too physical
Nor
now.
would you. I think you're
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Folks, we will catch you on the flip side. ZaBills Nation out.
Go Bills.
And go Bills, and hopefully we squish those goddamn fish.
Come back with a win.
That's right. All right. Go Bills.
Go Bills. I'm excited to hear that commercial.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
ZaBillsPodcast is a presentation of Kmart Productions, sponsored by MJB Electric and Dudzik Chiropractic. Thank you for listening, and if you haven't, please follow, rate, review the show. It helps with the algorithm. ZaBills is executively produced by me, Kyle. Executive sound engineering by yours truly, also me. Fundraising, also by Kyle. All artwork executively produced by Avery and Mark Rochon. What the heck is this? All music and lighting executively produced by Kyle. That's more like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Please drive carefully and arrive home safely. Good night. Yeah, baby. Yeah.